You keep hearing, my daughter Ankita and my son Aniket and I were sitting in front of the gas stove, and he started giving the diagnosis as if he is reading from Doordarshan's weather report back in the 70s. He said, Mr. Kumar, you've got cancer. Colon cancer, stage 2B. He was smacked. Then she managed to ask, what does it entail? So he said, first couple of surgeries, some rounds of chemo, radiation, and you'll be fitted with a stoma bag. I didn't know what the hell a stoma bag was. As I stumbled out with my family, we went to the canteen, and then sitting there looking at them, I simply cut loose. Why me? Poor me. How come me? I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm slim and trim, I swim and walk regularly, I don't take much of red meat. Then how come this scourge has slammed into me? There was agony, there was angst, there was frustration, there was fear, and some tears as well. Just then, I looked at my family and I found their faces simply crumble. It was as if they were seeing my own death in their eyes, in their own eyes. And I decided at that moment that I could do this to them, not their fault that I was slammed by this scourge. And for me, family has always come first. So I decided to change the narrative, force my own script, and live it. As a writer, storyteller, and inspirational speaker, I completely create a new story and love it and live it. Now let me share a bit of a background. I've had a terrible childhood. Some of my childhood friends are here. So I am a suicide survivor. At the age of 15 and 16, my parents separated. I suffer from a condition called brittle diabetes, in which the lows are very low, like 46, and the highs are extremely high, like 512, in a gap of 12 hours. This condition is called brittle diabetes. I also suffer from another condition called silent thyroiditis, where again the swings in the thyroid levels are extreme low and high. My marriage to my beautiful, gorgeous wife also was really tough. Some of my friends know that. So she's a Telugu Vaishnava Brahmin, and I'm a North Indian Marwadi, Karela or Nimchada. So double whammy there. So her dad created a ruckus. He said, no, you cannot get married. So we met in Rourkela Steel Plant as management trainees. I fell in love in second, she fell in love in 7 months. She's always been very slow. So when we declared our love, she went to her father and he went Basa. N.T. Rama Rao, S.V. Ranga Rao, Nageshwar Rao, Amrish Puri. Everything combined. He said no. So she came and told me that we can't get married. So I resigned from my job in Rourkela Steel Plant, came to Hyderabad and took up a job. Again, after 7 months, she said she wants to get married to me. I rushed back and I rejoined my job in Rourkela Steel Plant. But I was 2 years junior to her for 12 years. Now in a small place like Rourkela, where even the dhoti, the maid servant, the kirana fellow, the chaprasi, the chowkidar also knows all the promotions, all the transfers. If you are junior to your beautiful, gorgeous wife, who's also brilliant and intelligent and sparkling, by 2 years you're the biggest duffer on planet Earth. So for 12 years I suffered ridicule and shame and then bounced back. So for me life has always been tough. In 2015 I suffered from a condition vaguely called hemangioma, where there was a growth in my vocal cords and it was pushing my vocal cords and I was almost losing my voice. And my wife was dancing with joy that what she could achieve in 27 years then, hemangioma had managed to achieve in 27 days. But seriously, it was a very critical surgery. It was performed in Apollo Hyderabad. My friends were there and I recovered. So I battled all this with what I consider immodestly my exclusive mantra of managing every tumor with humor. So in this particular case, when cancer had slammed into me, I had to go back to my credo, my philosophy, my mantra. So I battled this scourge for 1 year. I went through 3 septic shocks. I had a major surgery for 8 hours that went off good. The reconnecting surgery, in my first major surgery, I was decolonized. My colon was removed. I gained independence from my colon. When India gained independence, they were very happy, but I was in septic shock is only 20 to 30%. I knocked on the door of death, shook hands with Lord Yama, and walked back 3 times. My beautiful, gorgeous wife played Savitri to my Satyavan. A big round for her. Applause for her. I underwent 4 major surgeries, 10 rounds of chemo, my hair is back, 5 rounds of radiation, 40 days in ICU, 17 kg weight loss. I survived all this because of my family, Madhvi, Ankita, my beautiful gorgeous wife Madhvi, and Ankita and Aniket, who I call Ma. Amitabh Bachchan had Ma in Diva. These 3 are my Ma. And let me tell you how they fought it with me. It was, they were trying to make sense of the chaos around. Every day, visits to the doctor, visits to the hospital, scans, blood tests, reports. They were trying to make sense of the confusion, the chaos, and the dread. But every day, visit to them, and they would never know when they would meet me in the morning at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, whether they would see me alive 12 hours later. But through all this, they never ever pressed the panic button. They never ever made me realize the kind of Hades, the kind of hell I was walking to and back again on a daily basis. That's my family for you. And let me relate one particular incident which I or many other doctors couldn't define. On April 16th, my family got a phone call that you please rush to the hospital. When they went, the doctor said that you please have a look at him. He's gone into a major septic shock and he might not survive. So when they walked in, I was lying in the bed in the hospital. The ventilator was there. My palms and feet had started turning blue and they were all bloated up. And my blood pressure hadn't gone up from 55, from a low of 55, despite the strongest meds known to the doctors here or anywhere else. Everything seemed to have failed, and the doctors were dreading imminent organ failure. That time, she's got tears in her eyes, my daughter Ankita put her palms on my forehead and started speaking to me. My son Aniket, he said, what are you doing? Have you lost it? He can't even hear you. He said, I don't care. She started talking, Papa, you can't do this, you can't go away like this. You always told us that it is the mind over the matter, mind over the body. You've been resilient, you've fought so many tough odds with your guts and gumption. And this is the time for you to prove that you can still do it. You've got so many followers, friends, fans. I've got only 3 seating fans in the house, but you've got so many fans. You have to do it. You always used to tell me that never ever give up. So how can you just give up like that? For us, we all love you and I love you the most. It was a scene straight from a 1977 masala movie narrated by Manmohan Desai, where the hero or the protagonist, she can't call me hero ever, the protagonist is lying on the bed and the relatives and family and who are praying for his life. In real life, it always happens, but this was real life. You can't expect a miracle here. But would you believe it? As my daughter continued talking, the BP showed signs of improvement. It started going up from 55 to 65 to 75. Then my family also, Aniket and Madhvi also joined in cheering every little milestone of my BP ascent or climb. The doctors had given up and gone, left just a nurse. She rang up and told the doctors that the BP is climbing. When it reached 117 and I was steady, kind of steady, the doctors came back, took me to the operation theatre and performed a surgery. So now, can anybody explain this? Can science explain this? I talked to the doctors, allopathy doctors, most of them shrugged. And one of them said that we won't accept it, but you know that there was some energy, some connect between you and your daughter that brought you back from the land of the dead to the land of the living. Science cannot explain it, but it's faith, energy. And when I needed a miracle, my daughter created a miracle for me. And usually what happens, kids of this age, in their late 20s or early 30s, they give their logistic support. The best hospital, the best care, the best set of doctors, but they don't give their time and energy. I'm fortunate that my children, both of them, kept their lives on hold for those 3-4 months, and they were around their papa and mom each moment of that grueling ordeal. And what about my friends? So what I did was that as I was diagnosed, I think on the second or third day, I went, I went crazy on social media. Fun-filled messages, quirky lines, parodies of Amitabh Bachchan, my favorite actors, lines in Diwar. I just filled social media with all these things, and the response from my friends was humongous. 3 days after radiation, after radiation what happens? One can't even walk. 3 days after radiation, my daughter suggested that we should do a dance video because I'm very, very passionate about my dance. It is my second passion. First passion being my baby gorgeous wife. So we did a dance video to Jawan Janeman Hasim Dilruba. It went viral. And my radiation oncologist shared it across all platforms, both with the doctors, the nurses, and everybody else. And then they started saying that this is how a cancer patient should try to react. There is this director of Indian Institute of Mass Communication who wrote a column on me about my fight with cancer in 2 newspapers. There was this youngster in Insta who wrote to me saying that, sir, my father suffers from a disease of the artery. He is confined to a wheelchair, he couldn't walk. But when he saw this video of your daughter and you dancing, he actually made an attempt and walked. Now tell me, how heartwarming is this? Then my friends, phone calls, messages, Insta, Facebook, everywhere. One of my colleagues who's sitting here, Rajat, he called me a messiah. There's another colleague who's also sitting here who said, Ramesh Sher Khan. I said, भाई घर में तो मैं ठीक ही दिल्ली हूँ, बीवी के नाम से कांपता हूँ, तो मेरे को रमेश शेर खान बोल रहे? There was this writer friend of mine who said, compared me to Rafael Nadal's fight during Wimbledon when he was, battling an injury in his abdomen and still continued to play. He said, he's hero number 1, you're hero number 2. Sorry, Govinda. And then there was this other friend of mine. She was discussing with some other lady who said that this, the movie Anand is highly romanticized. You can't get people like Rajesh Khanna, it doesn't really happen. So she said, you just have a look at Ramesh's Facebook post. He's Anand 2.0. My daughter Ankita's friend, she's the first vegan to climb Mount Everest. She went there, when she summited, she thanked God, thanked her parents and prayed for my life on Mount Everest. Now tell me, with this kind of support, what can a damn scourge like cancer do to me? So after discharge from the hospital, I went to a structure. So I have a few coping mechanisms which are good for any kind of crisis, not only cancer. The first and foremost is, you need to have a passion. Whether it's gardening or music, like my wife's passion is improving me. For the last 35 years, she's trying to improve me. It's a work in progress and a work in process. Actually, the progress is very slow according to her. You can have any other kind of passion. My passion is writing, storytelling, and praising my wife. So this particular book, I completed the editing after I came out of the hospital. And this book I wrote, my first book after my cancer surgery. The background is cancer. It's a grandparent-grandchild connect in the backdrop of cancer. The grandpa, who's Tadiya or Tata, he's affected by cancer. The grandchild, 11-year-old Isha, tries to get him out of that, that ordeal, that suffering, that melancholy, that depression, by creating moments of happiness, resurrecting moments of memorable moments which morph into great memories. So this book, though it's about cancer, it's got a lot of masti and chutzpah and fun and everything else. And I hope you guys will buy a copy and sign there, post prettily and sign the autographs. Yeah. So I started creating a routine because for me, my passion is my writing. Then live in the present moment. Everybody says that. All great philosophers say you live in the present moment. I did try to practice, not the regrets of the past or the uncertainty of the future. Because in cancer, friends, the only certainty is uncertainty. But if I start thinking about uncertainty, tomorrow's death and dying, I'll pull into today and destroy it. So I don't wait for the light at the end of the tunnel. I rush forward, try to grab it and make it my own on a day-to-day basis. Then invest in relationships, both online and offline. In this race, a rodent race called life, often we forget to forge relationships. So I have developed this concept called ATM. You've heard of automatic teller machine? You've heard of anytime money? My concept is ATM, anytime memory. So I say that you create an ATM card with memories. And what do you need to create memories? 2 4-letter words, love and time. Invest in love, invest in time and create memories. Because this ATM card cannot be stolen, cannot be torn, cannot be lost, and irrespective of the vagaries of the stock market, its price keeps increasing because it's priceless. And when you are down and out, please encash your ATM card and live in the moment. One thing very, very serious is don't take yourself seriously. Whether it's a bump on your, or boil on your bump, or whether your bum is on the boil. Chill, man, nothing is permanent. If you have to take anything seriously, take humor seriously. Let me give an example. When I was undergoing through all this, 6-7 months in the hospital, I got a call from a friend of mine, a doctor. He said, Ramesh, all along you've been going external. You've shared everything on social media, Facebook, Insta, parodies, jokes, everything. But now you have to internalize. You have to look inward. I told him, bro, for the last 6 months, I feel half of Bangalore is peering into my rectum. How much more antarmukhi, how much more internal should I get? My rectum has got more eyeballs than Natu dance. I can't do anything more than that. Then there's this aged relative of mine, a very close relative, who believes in gravity. I believe in levity. In fact, he believes so much in gravity that I feel that had he been alive at the time of Isaac Newton, he would have invented or discovered gravity without the help of the apple. He laughs once a month. Can anybody guess why he laughs once a month? The day he gets his Jeetam. Jeetam eppudu dortundi appudu navtaru. Lekote serious untaru. So he rang up Madhvi and said, what is Ramesh doing? He's making a joke out of cancer. He's flirting with death. Cancer is not a joke. It's not a trivial issue. If he continues doing this, he will die in bits and pieces. I told her, tell him that Ramesh has said that he will not allow any damn colon cancer to put a period, a comma, or even a semicolon to his humor and creativity. Thank you. I was waiting for it. Tell him that 2022 is the year of the comedian. Zelensky in Ukraine, Bhagwan in Punjab, and hopefully Ravindra Kumar in Bangalore. Finally, tell him Ramesh believes in 2 great philosophers. 1975, Gabbar Singh, जो डर गया समझो मर गया, and 2022 Pushpa, साला मैं झुकेगा नहीं. After that he stopped talking to her. Finally, create an ecosystem of positivity with your friends and family. Because once you create an ecosystem of positivity, the entire universe will come together to provide succor, solace, and strength. Finally, I end with a parody I wrote. You must have heard of Amitabh Bachchan's famous dialogue, soliloquy in the movie Silsila. मैं और मेरी तन्हाई अक्सर बातें करते हैं. So I wrote, मैं और मेरा कैंसर. Can we settle down a bit? Because this is the Salim Javed of the entire narrative. So this is मैं और मेरा कैंसर. मैं और मेरा कैंसर अक्सर ये बातें करते हैं. तुम ना होते तो ऐसा होता, तुम ना होते तो वैसा होता. मैं और मेरा कैंसर अक्सर ये बातें करते हैं. तुम ना होते तो ऐसा होता, तुम ना होते तो वैसा होता. न रेडिएशन का यूं तोड़ना, न कीमो का निचोड़ना. न रेडिएशन का यूं तोड़ना, न कीमो का निचोड़ना. न सर्जरी की दहशत, न स्कैन्स की परेशानी. हर ओर एक काली स्याही, एक अजब सी हैरानी. मैं और मेरा कैंसर अक्सर ये बातें करते हैं. तुम ना होते तो ऐसा होता, तुम ना होते तो वैसा होता. पर कैंसर तुम ना होते तो मैं हंसता नहीं इतना. पर कैंसर तुम ना होते तो मैं हंसता नहीं इतना. हर पल को गले लगाकर मैं जीता नहीं इतना. रिश्तों की भी शायद सही पहचान नहीं होती. मेरे दिल में सदा खिलती ये मुस्कान नहीं होती. रिश्तों की भी शायद सही पहचान नहीं होती. मेरे दिल में सदा खिलती ये मुस्कान नहीं होती. यो हालतों से लड़ने की हिम्मत नहीं होती. अपनों को हिम्मत देने की ये ताकत नहीं होती. यूं हालातों से लड़ने की हिम्मत नहीं होती. अपनों को हिम्मत देने की ताकत नहीं होती. कैंसर तुमने मुझको खुद से मिला दिया. कैंसर तुमने मुझको खुद से मिला दिया. विष में ही घोलकर अमृत पिला दिया. कैंसर तुमने मुझको खुद से मिला दिया. विष में ही घोलकर जैसे अमृत पिला दिया. तुम ना होते तो अब इतना मस्त नहीं रहता. तुम ना होते तो अब इतना मस्त नहीं रहता. कल की फिक्र में आज को मसल देता. कल की फिक्र में आज को मसल देता. मैं यूं ही पड़ा रहता, जिंदगी भी पड़ी रहती. मैं यूं ही पड़ा रहता, जिंदगी भी पड़ी रहती. जिंदगी लंबी तो होती पर बड़ी नहीं रहती. जिंदगी लंबी तो होती पर बड़ी नहीं रहती. तालियां. Maybe one question. Our principal ma'am is very strict.
Thank you, Ravindra ji, for a wonderful session. Very motivating, very inspiring to learn your story. Thank you very much for being such a lovely audience. If you want to continue the interaction with Ravindra ji, he will be outside.
Yeah, signing the books.
Yeah, signing the books. And right now we have another